And a Bitcoin miner is most suited to provide this service to the grids because um, obviously you mentioned you can throttle up and down pretty quickly. I know historically it's been things like paper mills and steel plants really that have been powering up and powering down, but you can almost do it instantly. But also being so price sensitive, you you can react instantly to any changes in price.
Yeah, exactly. And I think a lot of traditional industries and manufacturing has tried to do this, but when you're dealing with physical commodities, physical production, the real world's harder than the digital world. You want to talk about steel, like you've got these big, what are those melting pots, the furnaces,
Yeah.
where like you can't just power that down for 5 minutes. Like some of those things take days to restart, to warm up, etc. So demand response is very challenging. But when you're dealing with chips on a board, and it's all digital, and then you can integrate that into a software algorithm that just puts them to sleep, at an instant, you can see how it becomes far easier for an industry like Bitcoin mining or anything digital to respond to those market needs.
It's so funny. It feels like Bitcoin mining has become like a gift, an unexpected gift to grids, in that it can offer so much, yet it's still getting attacked. I mean, I know in the article, I think it was ERCOT they were attacking out in Texas. But my understanding is that without the Bitcoin miners, the ERCOT grid could have potentially failed. Is that being hyperbolic?
Oh, look, I think that everyone loves to deal with extremes, right? So I think undoubtedly Bitcoin miners have helped that grid. And I think the governor of Texas even came out there with a very pro-Bitcoin mining tweet about 4 weeks ago, because they can give power back. So on the first hand, they underwrite new renewables because they bring demand into the market. So when everyone's trying to decarbonize, this is actually worth exploring because it's the other side of the equation. The issue we've also had in Western economies is the decline of industry, the decline of manufacturing. So that's reduced energy consumption at a demand level. We've had the rollout of solar PV on rooftops, et cetera, reducing net retail demand. So you've had demand for energy fall, yet we're trying to transition our energy generation fleet away from coal and gas towards renewables. So you end up with this dynamic where you're just flooding the market with more power. At what point do you shut down fossil fuel generators, embrace renewables, et cetera? So the benefit of data centers, Bitcoin mining, AI, GPUs is it brings load back into these energy markets that can underwrite and actually provide a demand signal for more renewables. Because we got to this point where the low-hanging fruit was taken easily and quickly. You were able to build renewables. The incremental demand was kind of there. There was a market price signal. If you want to keep pushing more renewables onto the grid in the absence of a price signal, in the absence of underlying demand, there's only one group that pays for that. It's the taxpayer. So again, you've got Bitcoin mining underwriting this green transition towards renewables in terms of the new energy build out. But then you've got the same industry sitting there once it is built saying, you know what, if anyone wants this power beyond a certain price, then you can have it. We actually don't want it. It's not that economic. We'd rather sell it back and give it back to you. We'll just mop up all that cheap power when there's too much wind, when there's too much solar, and provide a floor price for these generators to get up and build. But the moment that anyone else wants that power because they want to watch cat videos on YouTube or do whatever they want to do, discretionary with their power, we'll give it back to you.
Who's paying for the power when it gets expensive at that point? Is it transferred to the retail customer themselves? Are they paying variable prices, or is it the grid and they balance it out?
Oh, it depends is the long answer. So that's the short answer. The longer answer is more complicated. So it's like any traded market in these deregulated markets, whether it's every 5 minutes or 10 minutes, you've got a bid and an offer for power and you've got a market clearing price. That's at a wholesale level. But then when it comes down to an individual customer level, then it gets more complex. So at a retail level in different markets, it will be a regulated price where you won't be able to pass through all of that price on a 10-minute basis to your customer, it'll be fixed, and then every year you might have a reset. You'll then have larger wholesale customers that might have partial hedging contracts where they fix part of it. Some of it might be passed through, etc.
Right. So going back to ERCOT, why has so much of this work with demand response been so focused in Texas and ERCOT? Because I've heard obviously about you guys and other people working out there. What is it that's unique about Texas? And also, is it actually happening anywhere else? Because I can't tell you off the top of my head that I've heard of another grid that's doing demand response.
So there's probably two things there. One is Texas is a good place to do business. Okay. I've never really had much to do with Texas throughout my career, but their approach to business and an open market is absolutely spot on. So it's a nice place to go. Things are easy. People are focused on getting stuff done. There's no excessive red tape. So that's one element. But I think to then look at the demand response element, it's renewable energy, and it's the absolute amount of energy. I haven't checked in the last year or so, but my recollection is that if you looked at Texas as a renewable energy generator, like in terms of the aggregate amount of wind and solar in that market, and mapped it against all the other countries globally, it would be top 10, even top 5 renewable energy producer globally. Like, it is enormous, which is not what people expect.
Kind of ironic.
Yeah, and no one expects that. They go, well, hang on, like Texas is like...
Texas?
Yeah.
Oil country.
Exactly, yeah.
Oh my God. So the grid themselves, the ERCOT grid is pro this. They support it. They're happy. Texans are happy. It just sounds like the people who are interfering are people in different states, maybe senators who are in different locations. Well, I know I'm being facetious because I know Elizabeth Warren has been attacking this, but it does feel like it is to me. It's people outside of Texas who are trying to influence this.
Possibly. There's probably people within Texas. There's probably more people outside of Texas.
Right.
Look, to some extent, that's healthy, right? You need different views. That's what makes a market. You need people to be challenged. But yeah, there's a point where it gets a little bit too far.